that no country is immune from. From ILO report 2014, human trafficking earns profits of roughly 150 billion a year, and each year 1.2 million children are trafficked. Statistic number is huge and shocking. Even though human trafficking is so prevalent, the prosecution rate is terrifyingly low. Trafficked people are suffering from exploitation, even multiple exploitations. We cannot imagine what is happening to them in the darker corner in the world. By joining this hackathon, we want to help solving human trafficking problem using data science techniques. This is outline of our story. We begin with taking an overview of the dataset. We have built a Tableau dashboard based on features like geography, trafficking flow, gender, and age, showing a high-level understanding of human trafficking network. Next, we want to help finding a trafficked person if we have his or her demographic data. So, we built a XGBoost model to predict exploitation type and location. To understanding trafficking behavior, we also used market basket analysis to identify control pattern of criminals. It shows relations of type of control and type of exploitation. In the end, we will have a discussion about how data science could help combating human trafficking and what could be future use of our analysis. Here is an overview of data. Map is based on longitude and latitude. Inner orange circle shows count of citizens trafficked in this country. Outer blue circle shows count of trafficked people exploited in this country. For circles in the same color type, the deeper the color, the larger the number. Here are two examples for US and Ukraine. We can see many foreigners are trafficked to US, while Ukraine is a net outflow country in trafficking. Children trafficking is extremely important, as children are the hope of our society. This bar chart shows type of exploitation, outbound country, inbound country, gender, and children trafficking amount. The biggest group of children exploitation is sexual exploitation. Although boys in most countries are trafficked for forced labor, or Cambodian boys in our dataset are trafficked for sexual exploitation. Now it's demo time. We have built an interactive dashboard showing human trafficking paths and flow on country level. This is human trafficking paths all over the world. We can see an overview of trafficking hotspot. When we are interested in a specific country, we can go to the dashboard and select origin country. Say we want to see Ukraine. We click the drop-down menu and find UA. Make it bigger. The lines point from Ukraine to other destination country. 9 thickness represent flow amount. We can see the biggest group is the gray circle here. It shows most trafficked Ukraine citizens are exploited in home country. Next biggest group is Ukraine to Russia, and third biggest group is Ukraine to Poland, then Ukraine to Turkey, etc. The results align with UN report. The report data shows that 75% trafficked people are convicted in their own country, 14% are convicted in foreign country in the same region, while 11% are sent to foreign country in other regions. Next is our predictive modeling. In this part, machine learning model is used to learn the data pattern and inference. It helps identify location of missing people. There are 5 main steps in our training process. Firstly, we did data cleaning and pre-processing. Alpha2 code was used to map back to country name and belonging continent. If important information is missing, like gender or citizenship, then the samples are deleted. As for the input features, gender, major status, and citizenship were selected because giving a missing people, these are the basic info that we can get. We selected more than 13,000 samples for our model training, and we split 80% of them were used as training data and 20% as testing data. By using tenfold cross-validation method and analyzing the accuracy, precision, and recall indexes of each category, we try to avoid overfitting as much as possible. XGBoost model was applied to train 3 classification models. This slide shows the confusion matrix of 3 models. As you can see, most of the cases are located on the diagonal line, which are true positive. Accuracy of both type classification model and the continent classification model is greater than 95%, and accuracy of country classification is a little lower, but still greater than 80%. We also designed a simple interface to apply the classification models. Let's show a demo. Open the folder and run the interface.py in terminal. Then you could see the info about the model. Let's see an example. If we would like to see exploitation type and location of female adult victim from US, simply follow the message and type in the inputs. The prediction shows the results and also corresponding probability. We can see that US female adult victims are mainly trafficked domestically. Let's continue and look at another example. Female adult victims from Ukraine are more likely to be trafficked to neighboring countries like Russia and Poland. If you would like to stop, just simply enter end. By using these models, we also find that human trafficking pattern for Cambodian citizens is different from all other countries. Female adult victims from Cambodia are more likely to be trafficked to China as type of forced marriage, while children, no matter what their gender, are trafficked within Cambodia for sexual exploitation with very high probability. We were shocked at this serious problem in Cambodia, and further found that some of them are even sold by their parents due to poverty and lack of education and skills. Limited support from the government is also another contributing factor. In Art of War, Sun Tzu said, "If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles." Therefore, we have done market basket analysis to understand criminals' behavior. Market basket analysis is a classic way to analyze frequent patterns purchased together in transactional cases. In layman's terms, it gives you rules in form, if this, then that. There are 3 key metrics here: support, confidence, and lift. Support represents frequency, confidence represents probability, and lift represents relation. We have applied this method on means of control towards type of exploitation. First type, also the most prevalent exploitation type, sexual exploitation. The left side is absolute frequency for each means used. Psychological abuse is the most frequent used means, followed by restrict movement, physical abuse, and threats. The right side visualizes the top 10 rules by association analysis. Let's look at a live demo of the result. The shade of the color represents confidence. The deeper the shade is, higher confidence we are. The size of the circle represents the support. The bigger the circle is, stronger support we have. The top 1 rule is physical abuse. Notice that this is different than the frequency chart, since psychological abuse usually is not used on its own. Rather, it's used together with other means. Physical abuse, on the other hand, is frequently used on its own to control victims for sex exploitation. Notice that top 2 rule is psychoactive substances used on its own. This makes sense, as traffickers usually use drugs to control the victim. Notice rule 8. The confidence is 0.99, which means if physical abuse and psychoactive substances means are used, we can be almost 100% sure that this is sexual exploitation. Move on to the second biggest type, forced labor. The pattern looks very different than the first one. In this case, false promises are the most frequently used means, followed by take-earnings and excessive working hours. This makes sense, as they align very well with this type of exploitation. Let's explore the top 10 rules. Top 1 rule is excessive working hours, which is very unique for this exploitation type. Also, take-earnings, false promises, and withhold documents are means that we didn't see in the previous top 10 rules graph. The rule with highest confidence is taking earnings and excessive working hours used together. We could be 82% sure that this is forced labor. The third type is forced marriage. This pattern is kind of a compilation of the previous two. False promises are the most frequently used means, followed by other and restrict movement. Let's explore the top 10 rules. The top rule is debt bondage, false promises, and other together. Notice, because data for this type is very small, so the support and confidence are not high. But we could see lift is very high, which means debt bondage, false promises, and other together has a very positive correlation with forced marriage. We also see sexual abuse and physical abuse here, since forced marriage has sexual impact. The same analysis were used to analyze recruitment type and exploitation type. Recruitment type includes who recruit the victims into human trafficking situation. It includes intimate partner, family or relatives, friends, and others. We noticed that a very sad but true fact that more than 95% of the time when human trafficking is recruited by intimate partner, it is for prostitution. Based on our data, only less than 10% of the victims get into trafficking situations through abduction, which means they have freedom before trafficking, but somehow was conceived or trapped into trafficking. If we could have recruitment data, we could build algorithms and apps to predict false promises and build a health score system for each job, which can send an alarm when a job offer is too good to be true. We also noticed that this data is highly skewed. Some countries lack human trafficking data. With more data from different countries or agencies, we could improve the model accuracy and be able to provide prediction at more granular level, upon which a mature application could be built to locate missing population. In some situations, the victims who are experiencing human trafficking might not realize this is human trafficking. Using data science techniques, we could produce more customized database report and analysis to increase people's awareness of human trafficking issue. On the other side, once a victim rescued, the road to complete restoration is difficult. Based on our analysis, we know that psychological abuse and psychoactive substances are used for sexual exploitation and forced marriage. Corresponding method can be used to help victims to regain normal social life. In summary, we believe using advanced data science techniques and with mutual collaborations around the world, we could stop human trafficking. Thank you for listening.